Super Breakdown podcast, where cosmic tales unfold. Join Power Maximus, Lord Triage, and the Prince of Desolation on a journey through heroic realms where legends are born and destinies entwine. Delve into the cosmic currents, unraveling the mysteries of superheroes, villains, and champions. Embrace the cosmic energy that binds us all, and let your journey begin. This is the Super Breakdown Podcast. Enter the Cosmic Saga.
What is up? What is up? We are back. Oh, it's been a long time coming. I know it's only been a week, but yeah, it's been a minute. Oh, welcome back to the Super Breakdown. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, and going forward, the one, the only Prince of Desolation. Dessa would be in charge of all gaming that goes on the channel. So yeah, he's in charge of it all. We're gonna be getting everything set up because we're gonna be going deeper into some video game streaming, and Desolation is gonna be handling all that. Desolation Gaming, Unleashed the Beast. So this episode, well, first off, let's recap. Last episode of Super Breakdown was an amazing one. We sat down with Demetrius Holt, also known as Hellspawn. You can find him on Hellspawn underscore cosplay on Instagram. Sat down an interview with him just to discuss the work that he's been doing within the Blurred Nation and the Blurred community, such as his new company, Blurred and Powerful, as well as working alongside Blurred Station. There was a lot that came out of that. It was absolutely amazing. And we look forward to working closely with him in the future and Blurred Station in the future. So that was a great episode. But we are continuing our Avatar April with Waterbending. And we also are going to be talking about some of the big reveals that just got dropped within the last week to 2 weeks. So matter of fact, before we get in to breaking down our waterbenders, let's talk about some of the big things that just got announced real quick before we get into that. Number one, this Transformers trailer. What are your thoughts, Josh? What are your thoughts as being an avid Transformer fan? What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think it's cute. I mean, it's definitely being aimed towards children. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking it as an origin story to define what happened and what drew the battle lines between what eventually becomes the Autobots and the Decepticons. Because much like the Martians of DC, as we know, they're basically in the middle of a race war.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like we always know that Megatron and Optimus were friends at one point, but we never saw what actually happened that was like the defining factor that changed everything forever.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know. For me, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like it's a story it's been kind of needed. You know, we've been wanting to actually see Cybertron. I just wish it was a different medium or more so a different genre. You know, maybe more like an actual live action thing. We actually get to see live action, you know, Transformers, and we get to see this same story. Now, all right, so I got another question. How do you feel about it?
I have no feelings whatsoever. I have no feelings whatsoever toward it.
Wow, damn. It's like that. It's like that. All right.
I'm not a big Transformers fan. That's the truth. I'm not.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right. Now, other question. how do you feel about Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime?
So this is just like them making Chris Pratt on Mario. I don't understand that. Hold on. Yeah, nah, yeah. I don't understand how we could have someone who's famous for playing the voice or more well known as the character who's not just that character. But it might also be one of those things where a schedule could be who maybe that person felt like passing on the mantle. There's a lot of things that come into play with that because it's like in my mind, when I hear the Joker, I think Mark Hamill.
Yep.
Just like how if you think Batman, boys and girls, who do we think?
And
Kevin Conroy.
Who's the Joy? Who's the? Yeah, Batman, Kevin Conroy.
Right.
Now I'm trying to remember what is the actor's name who normally plays Optimus? Who's been playing Optimus for over a decade?
Longer than that.
Nah, it's definitely longer than that.
Yeah, that's what.
But yeah.
Yeah, well over a decade. Yeah.
But Mark Hamill had said years ago that he was done voicing the Joker. But every time he turned around, there was another project came about where it's like where he kind of stepped back into the crazy clown car. And it's like he announced, if memory serves me correctly, that he was done after Arkham City. Then he came back for Arkham Knight. They did the Killing Joke. So it's like, and now with the passing of his Batman, like he's actually officially said that he's pretty much done with it. So it's like someone else has to step into the crazy clown car and take it for a drive. So I kind of get it from that aspect. But it's also one of those things like where I don't know. He's got to bring that character to life to me. Otherwise, all I'm hearing is Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is Thor saying Autobots roll out?
Yeah, why is he saying there's more to us than meets the eye? I definitely agree. I feel like from what I've heard in the trailer, I feel like they could have did more editing on his voice to make it a little more robotic. And that also goes into what you said to make it so that we're not hearing Thor. You know what I mean? That's really my only issue. And this is also it's way more comedic. And my thing about Chris Hemsworth is that even in his action roles, there's like some kind of comedic attribute to the character, and it's like like it just doesn't fit some of the time for me. And I haven't seen I haven't seen the new Mad Max yet. I don't is it out yet? What, Furia? I think.
No.
So
Furiosa. No, it's not.
Not yet. All right. So, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of level of comic relief in there too, and not how like an action movie normally does comedy. Comedy and action movies usually like kind of like stale comedy in a way. It's like it's like very dry humor, but it's like, yeah, that's funny. But now this is like ha ha funny. His kind of comedy within his action, yeah, it's like he throws like a legit actual ha ha funny kind of thing in there, and that's what I'm worried about. With this movie.
Well, I also think that's one of the things where it depends on casting. For example, we talked about when we broke down Venom. For all those who did not see that, go back and check out our episode on Venom. It's one of our first episodes. We talked about Venom as basically being a buddy cop movie, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
What's your favorite buddy cop movie?
I'd have to go with either Tango and Cash or Lethal Weapon. Between those two.
Okay, Jack. What about you?
Oh, I have a favorite buddy cop movie. I don't.
I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of actually really good ones.
But
I don't know.
Like,
yeah.
For me, it's Bad Boys or 48 Hours.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Yes, I'm sorry. No, it's either I'm gonna swap out Tango Cash for Bad Boys. Yeah, Bad Boys or Lethal Weapon. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
Now,
I don't know what the hell.
but here's the funny thing with that. Almost everybody you have named, with the exception of like Nick Nolte and the one dude from Tango and Cash, have had some kind of experience doing stand up or were comedians or at sitcoms.
Yes.
Shit, Bad Boys,
So
Martin Lawrence and
so
Eddie
48.
and not Eddie Murphy, Will Smith both had primetime sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're like that
Yep.
underlying funny tone was always there to begin with.
Yeah, but even then, a lot of those buddy cop movies, with the exclusion of Tango and Cash, there weren't they were meant to have that ha ha funny comedy in them. Bad Boys was meant to have ha ha funny comedy in there. Same thing with you know, um I feel like Lethal Weapon goes along the lines of with the dry ha ha funny, with the dry comedy, with dry humor, that's what I meant to say. Um but there in 48 hours, there's meant to be ha ha funny in there. Because those are, although they're action, there's still also comedy as well. But like when I see Transformers, it's like I don't see haha comedy in it. You know what I mean? I feel like there should be that there needs to be that dry humor in it, because if not, I feel like it steers away too far from like the how the characters normally are.
Well, that was one of my issues with the original one. And don't get me wrong, I get the whole thing with Megan Fox being the sex symbol and Shia LaBeouf being the geeky kid who wanted to get her affection. Yeah, we've all been there, whatever, whatever. But like the one dude who was Agent Simmons, like, where are you from? Sector 7. Never heard of it, you never will. Like, I'm
Yeah,
thinking the
yeah.
government's taking an alien invasion just a little bit more seriously. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mm. I feel like Bumblebee did that very well. Like, like, and again, I'm not a big fan of John Cena, but like he played that very well. It was very serious. It's very, we're gonna get these aliens by any means necessary. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we need to do to get these aliens and stop this invasion from happening. So I feel like Bumblebee did that very well. So I'm just, and then yeah, I don't know. It's just too much comedy in it. But again, it's also geared for kids. But I don't understand why they would make it geared for kids when this is supposed to be a prequel, and and apparently it's a part of the same storyline. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that makes
Like,
sense with the whole that makes sense with the whole continuity thing, because it's like we said, one of the reasons, like, if you look at I can't believe I'm about to say this.
mm,
If you look at the big three from like the 80s, the big three were the Thundercats, the Transformers, and G.I. Joe. But it's like they keep trying to redo these things and make them work and aim them towards children while keeping the adults interested, and they don't work. Like,
yeah,
I can't take any government task force that's responding to counterterrorism who's not dropping bodies seriously.
yeah, very, very true. 100%, I agree.
Like, at the end of the day, like, the Transformers are in the middle of a race war and they're an alien race. So it's like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the government's going to take that a little bit more seriously. That's one of the things I liked about Man of Steel. It's like when Zod showed up puffing out his chest, the American government's like, nah.
Yeah, yeah, they came in hot and heavy for that one.
Right? Or like, everyone knows me, I'm an A1 Turtles fan. Like, they keep trying to have it so it's like you can either have it where it's aimed at kids, or we get the last movie and it's this big success because all the children love it and the parents appreciate it, But if you're someone who's gun ho for the source material, that's not the Turtles I grew up reading about.
And that's definitely not the Turtles they portrayed in Last Ronin.
Right. So it's like, I think like they're doing it right by doing it that way. So if you have the animated format or digital format, which is more aimed at children, and then you have like the live action format, which is more for the adults, which is closer to the source material, which can be that gritty punch in the face that everyone's expecting. It's not necessarily like, oh my God, they put Raphael in a coma. Oh my God, they just blew up Optimus's chest. Oh my God, they just nuked Rome. Like, you know what I mean? It's not.
Fast and fucking Furious. That's another thing as well. They did a similar thing with Fast and the Furious. Fast and Furious has like 2 kid shows that are going on. Yeah, in the live action, motherfuckers just nuked Rome. They deadass just nuked the Vatican in Fast and Furious. So I don't know. So if they, as long as they keep it separate, you know what I mean? Like you just said, like, all right, so the animated shit, that's a whole storyline that's geared for the kids. And then we have the live action shit that's geared towards, adults. That's fine. So I'm hoping that's what this situation is, that this really isn't canon in the live action. That would really that would really piss me off. As long as it's not into live action.
That would be a big ass tonal switch.
But the thing, exactly. but here's my thing, is that would work perfectly is if it was canon from both perspectives. So the story's canon, period. But it's one of those things like where if you're seeing slightly different versions of it where the violence is toned down, or if they're taking little aspects of it out for the kids, because once again, as a kid, I didn't think that the turtles were violent. I thought, the Foot were bad, the turtles were good. That was the end of it. But at the end of the day, they burned April's apartment complex to the ground and put Raphael in a coma.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're looking at it from that aspect, it's like they can keep it canon to the story and it'd be fine. Because technically, little Jimmy's going to know the story, and then Big Jimmy's going to know the story, and it's only going to slightly differ depending on how rough or gruff the material is.
All right, I see that. That's a very different perspective on it. I didn't think about it that way. All right, I fucks with that. Now, talking about the Turtles, they just announced that they're doing a live action Last Ronin movie. How do you feel about that?
The sequel to the. I am not against it, but
they're taking Last Ronin and putting it live action.
I mean, I want to see how it's gonna look. If this is gonna be like Jim Henson's Creature Shop, like the one, like the first 2 from the '90s, I'm Gucci, I'm golden with that. And it's like, if it's on point and it's been good to the source material, I'm fine with that. But if it winds up being like the shit Michael Bay did, I fucking can't.
We don't talk about Bruce. No.
It's not gonna work with that story at all.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. Turtles are too
Creature
big.
Creature Factor would be way better. And it would be nice if it was I don't know. So yeah, Creature Factor is definitely the way that I would like them to go as well, because they can actually have it be a continuation of the original Turtles. All these years later, this is what happened, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I agree with Deso on that. I agree. It wouldn't work. His turtles are way too fucking big.
I mean, why even do ninjas at that point? That was my biggest thing. So it's like, but
yeah, you're big as hell. Like you ain't creeping around nowhere. They can't even be. Yeah, you're right. They can't even be ninjas. Michael Bay.
No.
They can't even be ninjas. Now, let's see. Then they announced. Speaking of Avatar, April. They also announced that they're doing. Like was like 3 Avatar movies, 3 Last Airbender movies. So
Yes. So, I mean, what are your feelings on that?
I'm with it because I'm definitely with the shits on that one because it's being done by Nickelodeon and it's being done by the original creators. So and it's gonna focus. It's gonna give and it's fan service too because all we want as fans are fans of are all we want as fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender is to know the story of adult Aang, and this is what these movies are going to give us. They're made by the original creators. They're and by the original distribution company. So I'm personally with it. I'm with the shits. I'm full with the shits. Um, and then on top of that, so there's the 3 movies, and then there's also they said they're doing another show. So
Yes.
I'm all for it, 100% all for it. What do you
Remember
think?
something correctly, they're also supposed to be going over the next Avatar in the cycle too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm most definitely 100% with the shits on that aspect of it. Um, there was something else that they also announced as well. So for those who don't know, all the information that we're talking about has come directly from CinemaCon. They had CinemaCon last week and they released a lot of information.
Yeah, apparently it was a banger.
Also, just found out that yeah, apparently it was a fucking hit. Um, and then about an hour or so ago, just released that they're releasing the next trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine tomorrow. So I will definitely be reporting on that after watching it. Now, Dan, there was something else I wanted to go over as well. Oh, yes. How are we feeling about where X-Men 97 is going currently? How do we feel about this?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Like,
I'm not overly surprised. I know where I think they're gonna go with this, but I'm still waiting to see.
okay, for me, I'm fucking ecstatic with where they're going. Episode 5 traumatized the shit out of me as it traumatized many other people. They literally had us sit there and watch genocide. They made us watch fucking genocide.
On the Disney
Like
Channel.
on the Disney Channel and blood. The amount of that, like our favorite mutants. A lot of our favorite mutants just get murked out, like hands down, just straight murked.
I went from the other show, the show to my kids to, oh my god.
Mhm. It's like what the hell? It is like what the hell? And then episode 6, they brought it back. They brought us back into Storm's story. Um, and I that played out how I expected it to. That definitely played out how I expected it to. Um, I figured that that was the problem. Was it was her own emotions that were holding back her powers. Like Spider-Man 2 type situation. Um, I kind of figured that that was the case. And now
I
this
didn't
whole
like
love,
that.
I yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't either. I wish that I wish that they had wrote it that
Shit,
once when
shit.
Forge put her into the machine, that all this was all going on in her mind with the adversary and shit. And all that was actually going on in her mind. And that was like her path to getting her powers back. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the episode, she comes out of the machine like, what the fuck just happened? And it's like, yeah, give your powers a try, see if they work again. And all the whole time it was him working on that cellular level to rejuvenate her X gene. And that's just how it played out in her mind. That's really what it seemed like. And I feel like that would have been a better twist for it all at the end. And then for them to go in a room and like, have that love moment, like, oh my God, like thank you so much. And our feelings are, that all that emotional lovey-dovey shit. They go in the room, they about to do some things, whatever, and then boom, TV's on the news. Genosha just got attacked. Hundreds and thousands of mutants dead. And now I also have to ask, how did you guys feel about the whole Xavier shit with that? The Xavier's part of the story.
Magneto was right.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we all know now that Magneto was right. And all those people that was in our comments way back when we did the Magneto episode and you posted Magneto was right, all those people in our comments that was bugging out talking about, oh, this is racist and black supremacy, blah blah blah, this and that, whatever, all that good shit they was talking. Now they're like, oh, I bet you their tone has changed. It's like, oh, hold on a minute. Magneto actually was right in the beginning, from the start of it. Like, it's not even just Homo sapiens that hate mutants. Well, the fucking Kree and all these other fucking otherworldly beings don't fuck with mutants either.
Yo,
Blackbird Deadass said she wants his freak fluid. Freak fluid? Excuse me?
nigga, she said the Milky Way was a ghetto.
She said the Milky Way ghetto. Bro, I've never felt so offended by a cartoon, bro. And I've watched some wild ass cartoons.
Right? She might as well say, we don't want you niggers on the throne in here.
Right? I'm telling you, that's exact. Bro. Like,
Oh,
Blackbird was out of pocket that episode. All the way out of pocket. And it's wild, hypocritical, because in the comic book, she has a kid with Bishop.
hey, man. She took a trip to Pound Town. She was never the same again. Sounds like she's dickmatized to me. Just saying.
Man. That shit was crazy. That whole episode was crazy. And I gotta say, Xavier was on some G shit. This thing was on the ground. Who's like, you know what? Fuck these motherfuckers. I haven't used my power since I've been here. Hold on. And just pulled them, and not my boy he literally took these motherfuckers to school, bro. Literally took them
Yeah,
motherfuckers to school.
he went full Breakfast Club on their asses. Yes.
For real. He put them niggas in detention and said, listen, this is how we're gonna do this shit. And then was interrupted when he felt when he felt Gambit die and everyone died. Like, come on. And that also is a testament to how powerful Xavier truly is. Literally, this man is in a whole nother galaxy. And was able to telepathically sense that shit happen.
Yeah, I feel like there's more to that story going on. I feel like that shit.
Yeah.
That nigga was in a whole nother. That nigga wasn't even on the planet. Come on, man. There's more going on than that.
I feel like they definitely could be. I feel like definitely could be Sinister's a way of pulling Charles back to Earth, so you can kind of like take everyone out. Or even then, why wouldn't Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister, want the DNA of the strongest telepath on the planet?
Well, technically, he already has it.
Like, true.
'Cause, I mean, we already know that we saw Cable again. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. Which I know we all know how that's gonna play out. We're gonna get another jump to the future kind of thing. Cable and Bishop are gonna be keep trying to go back in time to fix the situation so it doesn't happen. But they just keep getting like the time wrong. They either come back too late, come back too early, and they haven't gotten the time frame just right yet. So, and again, God knows how many times they've already done that. So the trauma of like not being able to save his mother multiple times is, yeah, that's gonna fuck him up. How are we feeling about Scott's breakdown?
I think this nigga's about to go full supervillain. It's just a matter of time.
That's so. What you thinking?
Same.
Yeah, I feel like this is I think he's coming around to the fact of Magneto was right type shit. And like, as a black man in America, I felt that. Everything he said, I felt that shit. Like, it was so fucking, honestly, I would have to say that was the best voice acting performance that we've gotten out of the show yet thus far. As in, like, being able to feel the passion in what he said. Like, yeah, no. I said first, let's also talk about this. So the other night, I was listening to our friends at Blurred's Eye View. Listen to their podcast. They had a few people on, and they brought up a good point. Like, so, like, all right, how do I explain it without like saying exactly what they said? So pretty much, like, how did Shorty that was too much information for Shorty to know? The reporter, like, how, like, bro, I would have stopped her right there. Like, first off, bitch, why are you looking up my family? Why are you pulling my child's birth certificate? Like, personally, I feel like that was crossing a line right there, and I feel like that's also what pushed Scott over the edge. Bitch, really, you're sitting there digging up dirt. You're here for an honest interview, and now you're trying to pull up dirt. Like, come on now. We're supposed to be talking about how mutants are helping. But now you're sitting here trying to pull up dirt from my past and shit and paint me in a bad light. Talking about I gave up my kid. Bitch, I gave up my kid because y'all humans don't know how to act when it comes to mutants. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, nah, Scott was 100% in the right for going off. But at the same time, this nigga Scott has been kind of sort of cheating with Madeline, but kind of not cheating with her at the same time. And I feel like Jean need to get off her high horse and understand the facts of the situation. Like, I don't know. I feel like she freaked out a little bit too much on the situation. How do y'all feel about it?
She freaked out a little too much. How the heck, like he thought it was her.
Nah, there's.
No.
I don't know.
Because at this point, he knows that Madeline is Madeline.
Yeah.
And he knows that Jean is Jean. So it's like, you got to understand, yeah, he loves Madeline. He married her. They have been together for God knows how long. Nobody knows how long the switch has been made for.
No.
So it's like, at the end of the day,
So
legally by law, Madeline is his wife.
my thing with that is that Cyclops has been notoriously loyal to Jean Grey for a long time, but the issue with that is more in more recent years, Cyclops has gone out the pocket into wild shit. Like he has an affair with Emma Frost, like the whole thing with him sleeping with the clone. Like, nah, he spirals out of control. And when he goes off the rails, he goes off the rails. So it's not completely uncommon for him to lose his cool the way he did, but I'm confused to what the end goal of him losing his cool is. Like I said, I think this is heading towards him going full supervillain, and if it's not, I'm just gonna be disappointed.
And you're talking about all the way down into Phoenix Force Scott, right? Where he ends up killing Charles.
Yes, because my whole thing is like he's already been shafted with his whole thing with leadership. Like everything doesn't get left to the Golden Sun; it gets left to the. I'm not gonna say what I want to say. It gets left to Magneto, and that becomes
no. You just say it. Say it.
Listen, it gets left to the pro force, completely anti-establishment, in your face, outspoken nigga. Instead of the good, humble, obedient son. Like Magneto was never one of them. He never fought with one of them. He's tried to kill them on several occasions. Like you leave everything to your quote unquote moral enemy. That right there was an issue. Not to mention Madeline giving birth to his kid, only to find out it's not Jean Grey. And then this whole attack happens in Genosha. And then Charles Xavier comes running back and he's expecting shit to fall back in line. Like, not only did you not give me my just dues, which I rightfully deserved, you handed it to someone else who was never one of us.
You know what? I see that too, because I can also see him blaming Xavier for what happened on Genosha. None of this would have happened if you were here. We wouldn't have been. We wouldn't have gone to Genosha if you weren't here. Type situation. All right, let's take a quick break. Here for some amazing people that are doing some really awesome shit. Right back.
Going on, everybody. Lloyd Jones with Midnight. Going on, everybody. Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday, and every Saturday after that. So all I would have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
No.
Yeah, seriously, go check them out, everybody. Level 7s, they are doing amazing things within the blurred community, within within the nerd community in general as a whole. Check out their podcast. It's a fun time. It's definitely a good time. Um, but yeah, just to finish off this big news recap. I personally feel like I see Scott blaming, like I said before the break, I see Scott blaming Xavier for the shit that happened in Genosha. Like he's gonna be like, we would have never even been there. Genosha wouldn't even have been recognized as, as like as its own entity. So it wouldn't have put a target on their back if Charles was there. All that happened. Genosha being recognized and shit like that. All that happened specifically because Magneto pushed for that, and Magneto made
I don't have
that stand.
I don't have time for Men of Peace.
Mm. I don't know. That's just the way I stand on it. So Desolation. Tell the people what we got playing here.
Elden Ring with bending mods.
Yes. So because we're doing Avatar April, Prince of Desolation is going to be. Unfortunately, there's not many very good, Avatar games out. There's no good Avatar games out there. So we've opted to make our own bending game. We have Deso playing as his own avatar within the world of Elden Ring. So let's get into the main event of the day. We're breaking down Waterbenders. Let's see. Who do you want? Who do you want to run over first? Triage,
Well, we definitely got to start with Katara.
because we got about 4 characters. Yes, yes, absolutely. We absolutely have to start with Katara. So take it away.
So
Mm.
the one thing I always thought that was very interesting is was her level of growth as a bender when it came to manipulating water, because water is the element of life. It is the element of change, and it's like how it can take many forms and and it can be formed many ways. So I thought that was always very cool, and she was very, very adaptive and creative in the way she used her bending and her bending style. Now, excuse me, Qatar was originally from the Southern Water Tribe, and how when she and her brother Sokka are initially fishing, looking for food, how they come across Aang, and then that will leads to them discovering that he is an airbender, thus him being the Avatar. Now, when you see her first bend, it's basically I'd say she's a novice at best,
I'd say it's pathetic.
and then
I'd call it pathetic. That was a very pathetic attempt at waterbending. Very pathetic. But yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but I think that
uh,
also goes back to one of the things, because the firebenders killed a lot of the waterbenders who they found in the area. One of them being Katara's mother,
mhm.
who took basically the rap for her, sheltering her, because I don't believe they ever actually showed that Katara's mother was a waterbender.
Yeah. So in the story, they never really showed that her mom was a waterbender, but in the live action, they tell a story as of pretty much she took the rap for Katara. So before Katara was born, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any waterbenders. I'm pretty sure they had pretty much got rid of all the waterbenders in the southern tribe. Um, and so yeah, I'm pretty sure that their- that her mom pretty much took the rap for her as a waterbender. And that also makes sense though as to why she would feel so much guilt and grief. Well, because her whole thing with her mom, like if you pay attention in the animated series, it seemed more guilt than just grief. You know what I mean?
Yes, I would agree with
So
that. I would agree with that.
yeah, the live action story that they tell would make a lot of sense for her feeling that guilt. So yeah, so I feel like it's also a bit of guilt that she feels as well. That's why we continuously over and over and over and over and over again hear her talk about her mother and her mother's passing, and does get a little like, all right, we get it, your mom died, we get it, we get it. Um, but yeah, so it makes sense that it's grief that keeps her holding on to those emotions. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they wiped out all the other waterbenders there. Um, so I don't know. I feel like not even feel like I definitely if she would have had the teaching of a waterbender while she was younger, after she meets Aang, like, oh my god, she would have been wild. It would have been crazy. Like her waterbending would have been stupid. Mm. And honestly, I feel like that also would have put Aang on a much faster path to becoming the Avatar than it did.
Well, that's one of the things I thought was goofy about the live action. Like this whole thing with Master was it Paku?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it was Paku who said, he doesn't teach women. That's not something he does. And it was this whole thing. And, Asaka basically, not Sokka, excuse me, Katara basically had to like put him in his place and they had this grand revelation when they realized that her grandmother was the woman that he was originally supposed to marry. And because they had these narrow thoughts and on what was supposed to be done, how it was supposed to be handled, she basically told them to go screw themselves and run off to follow her own dream. So, in that aspect, I get it, but it's also one of the things like where it's like I just don't get the whole idea of when you have people who have potential to be phenomenal or master a style, which is especially consider that they're in fucking war against an enemy who literally manipulates the opposite element of them. We're gonna be like, yeah, we're not doing this.
Mm.
Like, go knit.
Yeah, I definitely feel like because as a war leader, you would want as many soldiers on your front lines as possible. So, as him being just such this great strategist and stuff like that, for him to still have that such a narrow even if he had the narrow mind at the beginning, him holding on to it for so long during the battle didn't make any sense. When I turned around and I see my people getting their ass beat because we don't have enough people, I'm doing whatever I need to get to bolster my forces. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
hate this, but it's essentially would end up being like a draft, even though it wasn't a draft because like the women of the Northern Water Tribe wanted to fight. You know what I mean? I would just start being like, "Hey, you, take that whole squad. Y'all rocking with us." I would be pulling as many people as I possibly can. I just feel like him holding on to that for so long didn't necessarily make sense to me as him being a such as this great strategist and war leader and shit.
And I get that thing because it's certain things with culture and religion, and depending on where you are, because I know certain races or ethnicities, I'm not going to name none. Some think of women as being down here opposed to men who are up here, or boys are more valuable than girls. So I get it from that aspect. But nigga, you're at war. Like my whole thing is like the Fire Nation will gladly rape, pillage, and murder their way across, you know, across the land as well as as well as the sea. We've seen it happen. We all know what happened to the air nomad. So it's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it just didn't really make too much sense for me. But for Katara's arc in the live action, overall, kind of there was a lot of stuff that they missed in general when it came to her story arc and her growth. Um, I like the fact that they added, her learning from other bending styles, like what she did with the ice blades. She learned that watching the King Boomy fight with Aang.
mm-hmm.
He created the Earth's pillar and just started throwing little slices of it off, and it was really cool that she incorporated that into her waterbending style and doing it with ice. Um, but there was so much, and this is my problem with the show overall. The live action show, they're missing a lot of the character growth. A lot of character growth in the live action show.
Well,
Or
I
at
think
least
that
missing a lot of, so let me clarify, the character growth is there. They're missing the events that cause this character growth.
okay, yeah, I can see that. But
That
I think it's also one of those things like where they kind of, in certain aspects, they kind of had to do it.
Yes, and to me that's still a problem too, because it's like if you watch the original story, you know what parts are important and what parts are not important. And I feel like they already knew. So a lot of times with these shows, they don't know if they're going to get picked up for another season or not. In this case, for them to get greenlit for season 2 and 3 at the same time, they were pretty sure, pretty damn sure that they were getting picked up for a second season, right? So even then, why not bring it to Netflix? Listen, or tell Netflix, or Netflix in general. Why would they not be like, you know what? There's a lot of important plot points in book one that lead to this character development. We need to make this series longer than just 8 episodes. We need to make it at least 10, maybe 12, just to keep just to keep it even. 10 to maybe 12 episodes so they can really flesh out at least a lot of these main plot points. And that's why I feel like Katara in the live action show really fell short of Katara in the show. I'll be honest,
Okay.
like,
So character wise,
they
where do you feel they fallen short?
one, I feel like they made her a little too shy. Not
Who?
much, but a little too shy. Katara. Well,
Oh, I thought
whoever
you were
did
going to say Suki.
what happened?
I thought you were going to say Suki.
Oh, no. Just Katara alone. Just speaking about Katara, just Katara. I feel like they made Katara a little too shy. Um, the main thing about her character is that she was always ready to go get it. She was always ready for that action. If it meant, if it that she was about that she could become a better bender, she was with the shits, which is why she fell in with the witch, the bloodbending witch, because she
Hana.
was like, "Oh, what was it?"
Hana.
Yeah, that's why she fell in so quickly with Hana in the bloodbending, because she saw that like this lady can make me a better bender. You know what I mean? Um, and she was, and I feel like this guitar wasn't as feisty and like quick. Yeah, she was very witty, quick with the snarky responses. Somebody says some wild shit. You know what I mean? I feel like this guitar was the live action guitar was very like, yeah. It took her a minute to kind of like open up and say some shit if somebody was saying some wild shit to her. But in the anime, somebody said something wild, she'd be like, oh, as if, really? Oh, okay. What about this? What about that? What about she was ready to get on motherfuckers' cases about shit. I feel like she wasn't as like ready for confrontation as animated Katara was.
Well, my thing with that is that you also have to look at the material as a whole. Like she's going to have to work into that opposed to being there already. For example, like we talked about character growth and development and continuity and story. We talk about that all the time. So it's like continuity and story, as you know, are big things with me. So it's like there's been no person outside of her brother who's put her in her place or try to ground her or keep her X, Y, and Z. So if that's something that say like that snarky, witty comments, like the coming back, like say like she develops that when she meets Toph, opposed to her just being that way off Jump Street. Because it's like in the village, who else really did she go back and forth with or have to speak to like that? Nobody.
I
So it would
mean,
make sense.
and okay, you know what? I also see this now because the only person that really ever put her in her place was her brother in the anime,
Right.
and he was very sexist in the beginning and very misogynistic in the beginning. And then so I guess that's why it makes sense in the animated that she was very straightforward right out the gate from dealing with her brother's bullshit.
But and
But in the
here's
show,
the
they don't in the live action they don't have him sexist and misogynistic. So it would make sense that she never had to, you know, right out the gate, be snarky and witty and have those comebacks. All right, I get it. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense.
and then it's like if we're seeing that was a thing from the quote unquote Water tribe and their idealism of like women's place versus men's place in the hierarchy, that makes sense for Sokka to be that way because that's the way his people thought. But if Sokka was the person who was the idealist, who was the strategist, and saw past all that, it's like in hindsight, if that was the case, it's one of those things like where maybe he doesn't necessarily need to be so grounded in that because he would have already moved past it by the time all this happens. Because they were like how he met Suki and his meeting Suki and seeing her as an actual warrior changed his perspective on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if he already had faith in his sister as a warrior, he wouldn't have had that type of perspective to begin with.
Yes. Yep. That's very true. Very very true. All right. All right. Yeah. So like I said, I see why they had to do it. Well, why they did it the way they did it. All or and why the character was the way she was in the live action. Because the pre circumstance, you know what I mean. The I don't even know if that's a word. It's probably not a word. But yeah, pretty much she didn't. Yeah, she didn't have to be that person until now when she's running into I'll call him a grandmaster waterbender. that sexist. She hasn't ran into that sexist and misogynistic yet, so she hasn't had to be on her shit yet. All right, granted, I get it. I get it. Now, with her abilities alone, let's take a look at the growth of her abilities over, let's just say, just to animate it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the one thing with the elements is that there's always potential for growth, and it's like I was always curious to like what it was that limited or stunted your potential in said element because that's never been clarified because you've already seen certain people who have mastered an element or have experience with an element transcend the element by changing the bending style. Like we see Toph do it with metal bending.
Very true.
We see Hanuma do it with blood bending. We see the firebenders hurling lightning and redirecting lightning. So Ahsoka, not Ahsoka, I said Ahsoka, Sweet Christmas. Where did that come from? Katara has shown
Excited for Star Wars May. I think you're
yes,
getting a little too excited for Star Wars May, right?
peace is a lie. There's only passion. So from that aspect, it's like we've seen her have phenomenal potential within the realm of water bending, but it's like to me, I don't know. She's always been a little bit too much of a natural for me, and that kind of bothers me. Like my thing with the bending.
I feel like that's yeah. I kind of feel like that goes into the fact that she needed to be because she's the only waterbender left. So in her mind, from the very beginning, she's like, I have to do this for my people. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where that naturalist comes from. At least a lot of it comes from with her.
Interesting.
That's just where that's just where my mind comes from. But it also goes back to whoever whoever her parents were as well, and how um pretty much how good her like father. It had to be her father because clearly her mother wasn't the waterbender. Maybe her father was also was a very strong waterbender. No, 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 no. Their father's not. So the mother had to be it had to be, yeah, their father's not a waterbender. He's a non-bender. So it
But
had to be somewhere in his lineage.
but that's another thing that's never really explicitly stated. Like, do you have to have a parent that's a bender in order to be a bender? Like, how does that work? Does it skip a generation? Like, that's never really been clarified because it's like if you're born in the Fire Nation, there's a very strong chance that you're going to be a fire bender, correct? But it's
Yes,
like
this is
if
true.
that's
Yeah,
the case,
you're right.
but if that's the case, what really determines whether or not you're a bender or not?
Yeah, that is a good question. They never really they never expand on that at all. So that would be really interesting to know what creates a bender. You know what I mean? Because we can see that we can have two non-benders create, a a bender. So what
And then
makes that child a bender?
you can have two master benders like Aang and Katara who have a child who's not a bender at all.
That's true. So two out of three, two who are born. Let's put it born not benders, because as we see, apparently people can be made benders. Um, which is strange to me, but I'll nod and go along with it.
So okay, I look at that like this. You watched Young Justice. Do you remember when
Yes.
Lex Luthor gave Superboy the shields, and the
Mm-hmm.
shields suppressed his human DNA and gave him full Kryptonian powers? So
Yep.
technically, he had the genetic potential for the heat vision, the flight, but because of his human DNA, he couldn't necessarily do it. So maybe it's one of those things like where Boomy had the genetic potential to be an airbender because his dad's an airbender, but for whatever reason, he wasn't. Then once harmonic conversion happens, it awakened that part of him, which gave him the necessary energy or connection to the element that he didn't have before. Just like how they said in the MCU, Agatha Harkness said, was it the Mind Stone that truly gave the Scarlet Witch her powers, or did the Mind Stone just wake up the powers that were already there?
That's a good point. That's that's a strong possibility. But I doubt they're gonna try to. I doubt they would go the genetic route. I definitely think it would be a more spiritual route. With that would have more so to do with the harmonic convergence. And but then you got to ask the question. Oh, it's spiritual, so you really that gets really iffy when it comes to the spiritual aspect of things, because it's like with harmonic convergence, if it made more airbenders, wouldn't it have awakened all the other benders as well? But then you got to go into, all right, well, there was an imbalance in the spirit world when it came to the airbenders being wiped out. It no longer the elements were no longer in balance. There's a
But
lot there's a lot that goes into with that part.
But here's the thing with that: who's to say that wasn't the case? The only thing that people would have cared about were the airbenders because everyone thought the airbenders were extinct. So it's like you have a whole new generation of people who don't have no clue how to treat this, how to not treat this, but how to use this element, with the exception of the one surviving airbending master. So him recruiting them to train them made sense. It might have worked that way to the point where there were other benders that got awakened. That actually would make phenomenal sense. But it's like they're only going to focus on the airbenders because there's no one else to teach the airbenders.
I feel like with that situation, I feel like the creators of Avatar took a page out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer's notebook.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I'll listen.
Because that's what ends up happening at the series finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They had Willow do some kind of spell that pretty much awakened every single like chosen Slayer that could ever or will ever be. You know what I mean? In the last ditch effort to kind of like bring balance to this whatever great evil that's coming. So I feel like that's kind of what they ended up doing there, just awakening everybody. Because now you got young girls that are now in the middle of a baseball game, softball game. You know, she ends up cracking the softball out of the fucking park because her strength is now randomly enhanced because of this spell. So I can kind of see, they kind of took a book page out of that book. It's like, you know what? Everybody's a bender now. Everyone that has potential to be a bender is now a bender now. Kind of like Thor did. Whosoever may wield a weapon within this battle is granted the temporary power of Thor. And just pretty much gave everyone powers. I also feel like that's kind of stupid. He could have did that even throughout the in-game war, the in-game
Yeah,
final
we
fight.
all
He definitely
we all
did
agree that was a bit
that.
of a clusterfuck, and that was someone who dropped the ball as far as writing goes. We all agree. There's no ifs ands buts about that one.
Mm-hmm. mm. Um, but yeah, no, they yeah, I kind of feel like they decided you know what, let's just everyone kind of gets powers now. But I would be interested to see like how that played out for other benders and non-benders. You know what I mean? Because I also feel like that's a stark difference from what Amon was trying to do. You know what I mean? Trying to equal everything out so that excuse me, pardon me. Trying to equal everything out so that, you know, the non-benders were felt more comfortable around the actual benders. So that's a big stark difference between the two. I don't know. That's just how I personally feel about that. Now, when it comes to Katara, so again, when it comes to Katara's growth, her meeting Aang, journey with Aang, her grandmother giving her the waterbending scroll so she can teach herself to waterbend. I feel like it's just straight uphill for her from there. Like she
Yeah, like
just
there's no
happens to
adversity with it. There's no big. She just like taps the potential and just goes all the way up.
yeah. Now here's my problem with the difference between a live action and the animated. When she got the waterbending scroll, Aang also trained with her while she was learning. So they learned at the same time, and that's how Aang learned waterbending. Of course, with her, you know, with her mentorship as well. With her mentorship of the basics of waterbending. But they didn't do that in the live action. They had her learn on her own. So by the time they got to the Southern Water Tribe, Aang's waterbending was novice level. And
Right?
and I hate to bring this up, but that's something that I feel like they did right in the M. Night Shyamalan Last Airbender. Oh, sorry.
That one hurt.
Mm,
That one
You
hurt.
are
saying that made me feel sick.
you all right over there? You okay?
Mm.
Don't hurt yourself now.
I don't know. Just saying that made me feel really sick to my stomach. Like saying that M. Night Shyamalan did something good with Avatar just doesn't sit right with my soul. Doesn't sit right with my stomach. My body wanted to reject me saying that.
Wow, that's
It was that. Oh god, that was nasty. That I've said some nasty shit, but that was the nastiest thing I've ever said in my life.
wow, that says a lot.
That- It does, and that really should speak volumes. But no, yeah. So in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, they during that Northern Water Tribe battle, Aang was waterbending, and his waterbending skills were good enough that he was able to make to do to for ice as well. And that's how it is in the actual animated version too. That's one thing that I felt like they definitely did not do right within the live action for Katara. She was Aang's waterbending master. And they took that part completely out of the live action. That alone is a very crucial part to Katara's character growth. You know what I mean? Her being the one to teach the Avatar waterbending, that's historic. That is
Uh,
historic, and they took that out. I
but
was very unhappy with that.
but my whole thing with that is that doesn't make sense. Like once again, if we're gonna talk story and continuity, like yeah, that's cool, that's fun, all right. But it's also one of those things like where it doesn't make sense to me where we're gonna have a novice train him. Like Qatar had mastered the element of water in that short period of time enough to the point where she could have taught it to him and him have a mastery of it.
that's the thing. He still wasn't a master of it, but he was still very capable in it. By the time they got to the Southern Water Tribe, he was still very capable, as was she, because they were learning at the same time. You know what I mean? Um, and actually, maybe her water bending was a little bit higher than his because she had already started her own personal training before she got the scroll. And that's also why she actually, if memory serves me correctly, in the animated series, she had already mastered everything in that scroll by the time she got to the Southern Water Tribe, because that was a part of the reason why she wanted to go there as well. Because she's like, all right, she's like, I'm done with the scroll. I mastered everything in the scroll, but my water bending can be better. I need to go see another. Need to go see a master to teach me more. So yeah. Even then, if you wanted to take her teaching Aang aspect out of it, she had already mastered that scroll by the time she got to the Southern Water Tribe.
But
Again,
that's just
that goes into what you were saying about it not making sense of her being able to master that so quickly.
like I get it. Like that, certain people have just unlimited potential in the element that they've been. We see it with Toph, and then we see it with Azula. For whatever reason, we see it more with the females than you do the males. I noticed that. But there's just gotta be some kind of line, because at some point in time, like I said, for continuity, it's just goofy.
Now, I definitely agree. But it's like, yes, it may fit the continuity for the live action, but my biggest problem is that the live action should have my overarching problem is that the live action should have been a little bit closer. It was good. It was, don't get me wrong. I very much so enjoyed the live action. I definitely did enjoy it for what it was. But I feel like it should have been closer to the source material. And I'll say this, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, if you haven't finished the series yet. Um like they rushed so much that they put the owl from the library that happens in book 2. They put the owl in season 1. They had to meet the owl in season 1.
Well,
That is right off the rip, a testament to like some of the bullshit that went on in the live action show. That was the one. That was my one major. That was my. I have little gripes with it, little things that I can kind of like just push aside. But that one right there, I can't. I can't get over that.
well, I think that's also one of the things, because it was such a big spirit, and the realm of the spirit realm in the first season, like you seeing it and what it had to do with everything. So there's no guarantee that you're not going to see it again. I think it was just them introducing the owl and you seeing the owl and you believing that the owl was what's the word I'm looking for? Interactive, because seeing something that big, the way it looked, them doing it digitally, it might not have worked. So it's like you seeing it and everyone seeing it and us taking it in and appreciating it and being like, oh, okay, I can really see this and believe it, opposed to them doing it in the second season, halfway through the season, and it being goofy. That's just like the face stealing demon. Oh, was it
Which
Ko?
then Co. Which that all got me aggravated too, because they blended about 4. I actually talked about it with one of our coworkers. That's actually 4 different storylines within one episode. They mix in. So sorry to get off topic, ladies and gentlemen, level 7s. Um, but in that episode, so Sokka and Katara were never in the spirit world with him. That whole storyline was the frozen frog thing. They ate frozen frogs that made them sick, right? So they were
Correct.
that that wasn't a part of that story. That the main story was supposed to be the spirit bear, and they never resolved that in the live action. In the animated that he resolves that situation.
Oh yeah, because the bear was upset because they destroyed the land. Yeah,
Hmm. But they never
I forgot all
resolved that in
about
the live
that.
action. Yeah, so that episode was supposed to be him resolving and bringing the spirit bear to peace. But then they end up mixing it with the Co storyline, which the Co storyline, it started with the monk. Remember that one episode where he was given all these, all those like one of the biggest, and very like heartfelt episodes of the series is when he was sitting down with the monk trying to find kind of like inner peace or whatever, and that's when the monk was telling him you got to let go of all earthly bounds and materials and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah.
Wait a minute.
You
I
know,
thought that was book two when that whole thing happened.
you might even be bringing up a better point with that too,
No, that's book two because
because
remember
the whole thing.
he leaves and how he told him like, yo, if you don't resolve this, you won't be able to go to the Avatar state at all. And then he tries to do it in the middle of the fight, and Azula hits him with lightning. Nah, I don't think that's still book two. Remember, serves me correctly.
So even then, but that the whole that even then with that was also trying to prepare him to go to speak with Ko, because Ko was going to feed on his insecurities and everything and all that in order to steal his face and shit like that. So he said, before you go to see Ko and battle Ko, you need to get your shit in check or you will lose. Right? So they mix the spirit bear with the Ko arc, with the Ko storyline, while also mixing it with the Frozen Frog storyline, while also mixing in the library, which to me is like, whoa. First off, that's to me, and then didn't even resolve the original issue that they went there for, that they stopped there for in the first place.
Yeah, yo, I never caught that.
Because I remember though, remember that whole scene where him and the spirit bear that kind of face it off, and he kind of, he gets he pretty much they start to make peace. I remember the scene where they're like, the spirit bear and him they're standing face to face as a side shot, and the spirit bear in his spirit form, you know, bows down his head to Aang, and Aang puts his hand on his head, and everything starts glowing, and now we're back to the real world. He brought peace to that spirit, but they never did that in live action. You know, and I don't. It's yeah, it bothers, and his entire reason for going to Ko in the first place, going to see Ko in the first place, had nothing to do with Sokka and Katara. Like I'm very okay with people taking creative liberties with stories. But when your creative liberties go so far as to change the entire storyline of certain shit, I can't get jiggy with that. I cannot get jiggy with that.
Mm.
I don't know. That's just me. And again, and that's why it's that's why I'm so upset with the way they built Katara up within these 8 episodes. Again, granted, you get greenlit for 8 episodes, and you have to tell an entire. You're greenlit for 8 episodes for one season. You're not sure if you're gonna get another season, so you jam pack everything into 8 episodes, and you have to figure out a way to make the story make sense or whatever. This and that. I feel like as a writer and a producer myself, let me clarify, as an amateur writer and an amateur producer myself, I feel like they could have easily wrote 8 episodes of the first half of book one. People would have went stupid for just the first half and do the first half right to this to the original story, right? People would go crazy for that. You're gonna get greenlit for even then. Netflix does the 2 parts, right? Netflix has been doing the 2-part seasons now. So that's also an option they could have had. They could have did 8 episodes first part, 8 episodes second part of book one, Water. And within doing that, they would have been able to truly give a more genuine and authentic live action retelling of of book one, right? But now they finished book one in only 8 episodes. So to me, it's like ah ah, and again by also putting in and I mean, I guess granted, all right, so the owl isn't too bad because you can always bring him again when where he's supposed to be, and have it as all right, hey, yes, I've seen you before. I know you're the Avatar. I grant you guys access to the library, whatever, whatever. All right, cool. You can write it off that way. But what they've done so far doesn't give me much faith that they're going to do that. You know what I mean? I personally feel like they're gonna leave it to a situation as of they like the guy, yeah, the owl's not gonna remember him or something like that. I mean, if they do it the way I originally said it, all right, cool. I retract my statement, but I don't know. There's just so much that went into book one and went into Katara's character that this doesn't feel like this doesn't feel like our Katara. You know what I mean? It feels like it's their Katara, their story, their own character. That's It feels like an alternate universe. This seems like a multiverse situation. You know what I mean? The characters are very similar, but also very different at the same time. So yeah, this feels like it definitely feels like a multiverse type situation.
Mm.
So I like I said, I'll give it I'll cut it some slack for that and just being like, all right, because you know me, anytime I go into like a reboot or a live action of something, I always go in with an open mind, you know. But then there's just some shit that just shouldn't be changed. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
I, I don't know. That's just how it. But
Oop, I
now,
broke it.
uh, what was that?
Oop, I thought I broke
Oh, okay.
it.
You Deso, you really gotta figure out a way to land that shit and not
I know
die.
I can land it. I know how to land it, but I have to just time. I have to like land it a certain way. I have to keep using the thing and land it off. That time it just got stuck.
Because I don't know, I just feel like I wouldn't Aang wouldn't be caught dead, falling to his death. A
Wait,
true
what?
airbender would never kind of fall to their death. A true airbender would not fall to their death. I mean, am I right or am I right? I'm just saying, like they'd brace their fall right before they hit the ground.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Where are you going with this part?
Oh no, I was making a comment about Deso's gameplay. So
Oh.
with his with his air ability, he's able to jump across the map and stuff like that, and jump through the air. But when he lands, he falls flat on his face and dies. So I'm like, man, a true airbender wouldn't be caught dead falling to his death.
My bad. I went to get something to drink, and I stepped away from my mic for a second. I thought you said something along her not dying for that box. So I was like, where are you going with this? Hold on.
Nah,
Like,
that nigga Aang he was definitely willing to die for that box. He was definitely willing to die for that box. He was man, this nigga took on the whole Fire Nation for that box. Come on now. This man Aang, she gave Aang a kiss. This man said, "Oh, okay, let's do it." Yeah, man, a whole like revitalized him. Oh, so on that topic, damn, we've been talking about Katara a lot. We got to get to these other guys. Last Katara, how do you feel about them cutting out the beginning of their her being love interest, or
I mean,
not touching on that as much?
my whole thing with that is that once again, it's storytelling, and it's also the bigger picture. So it's like them falling for each other or them having feelings for each other off rip, like that whole, the second they saw one another, there was a connection, or whether that connection developed over the time of book one, because at the end of the day, they are still kids.
Yes.
Granted, Aang's like 100 and 112, but still, at the end of the day, they're still kids. And it's one of those things like we're already asking them to fight this fucking battle to the death with someone who has no problem burning people alive. So it's like, if they want to dial that whole romantic aspect back a bit because they want to focus on the bigger picture, and that's why I think the thing that loses so many people is they're focusing on the bigger picture. Because at the end of the day, these niggas are at war, son. On the battlefield, you either get killed or do the killing.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing with that is like, if they want to make Aang a little bit more serious and a little less goofy, so his character is more relatable in that aspect, I'm okay with that.
Right. I wasn't too upset about that as well.
Because it's like, as goofy as he was in the original series, like the shit he did, that nigga shouldn't be Ozai. I don't care how mad he was in the moment.
But that's the thing, and this is I don't know if you rewatched it recently, but by the time he fights Ozai, he's not that kid, and that was the whole point of the story, was him turning from that childish aspect to, by the end of it, he's like, let's get this shit.
Not even. I'm not. Nah. I would never say Aang was with the shits. I would say that he rose to the occasion, but he was never with the shits. Korra was with the shits.
All right. Okay, I give you that. But by the end of it, he was far more serious than at the beginning of it. So you can't really say, you don't see that. Actually, no, I'll say this. I agree with you that shy little kid who just wanted to have fun, you know what I mean, just want to have fun, would never have beat Ozai. But the kid, I'd say the entirety of Avatar: The Last Airbender spans, I'd say, 2 to 3 years. So when we see him, he's 10, technically 110. But I feel like by the end of the series, he's about 112, 113. Right? So if you look at it this way, it would make sense that, and Katara was definitely about 3 years older than him. Yeah, Katara was definitely about 3 years older than him off rip. So yeah, they're end of it, they're both teenagers. Thus, it would make sense for the whole love story. Hormones going wild, whatever, whatever. Um, I Aang, Aang by the end of the series was enough with the shits to beat Ozai, but I feel like he didn't beat Ozai based off sheer power though. He used Ozai's anger and rage against him. He got him angry enough so that he made those crucial mistakes that gave Aang the upper hand. Aang, I will say this, and I don't care who gets mad at me. This might be a hot take. Aang was not stronger than Ozai. Yeah, he may have had other bending styles, but even in the Avatar state, Aang was not bending wise strong enough to beat Ozai.
Well,
The
I
only
will
reason why
agree
he
with
beat
that.
Ozai was because he outsmarted Ozai.
I will agree with that
He
because
outsmarted Ozai.
while they were still new, you don't see him use any of the sub bending. Like Korra was a natural was a natural bender. Like you don't see Aang hurl lightning or bend metal or none of that extra shit. Like Toph had actually just created metal bending, so that was just on the cusp of it being a thing. Well, people were already hurling lightning, so it's like you don't see him do that. But Ozai,
I'm pretty
Ozai
sure.
could do it.
I'm
So
pretty
it's
sure
like,
you see him redirect it.
well, no, that's what I was about to get
Oh,
to. So
yeah.
you have the whole thing like where he throws it, where he throws the lightning at Aang, and then Aang catches it and goes to redirect it. And the only reason why Ozai saw that coming and knew what was about to happen is because Zuko did it. And
Hmm.
even then, like Aang had to direct the lightning to another direction because he couldn't hit him with it. So it's like, I don't know about you, but I will never ever try to fight someone to a standstill who has every intention of killing me.
Granted, and that's me. I'm going for the kill. I'm
But
that
my
person. I'm going for the kill.
but, but this is also one of those things like where I said this was at the end of the day, it was aimed at children. So they have to give you that aspect where it's like they can only let this be so violent without it being ridiculous.
No,
It's like,
absolutely, and I think that's why they went with him outsmarting Ozai rather than outright killing Ozai. Plus, also killing was outside of Aang's character, but it's not outside Korra's character.
listen, this man killed his had his mentor killed. These people had his mentor killed, had his family killed, had everyone like him killed just to get at him, basically enslave the whole world. Only thing that the Fire Nation didn't do was bring crack to the hood. I'm just saying.
Oh shit! No, I agree. I 100% agree with you. Like, if I was the Avatar and I was fighting Ozai, I'm impaling this man with a Earth spike. I'm impaling him. I am not taking no bending. I'm not leaving him alive. I'm putting a hole through his chest. On some Kalima type shit. Like, I'm putting holes in him. I definitely agree. But again, like you said, child story, they really couldn't go that far with it. So that's why they took it the route that they did with having him, you know, just take his bending away. But yes, Korra. Sorry to get off topic again. Korra. Sorry, not Korra. We can. I mean, no, we got one other character before we get into Legend of Korra stuff, which would be Korra and Amon. Um, the Bloodwinding bitch. I meant witch. Um, we see we see Katara learn the true. I feel like Katara learned the true danger of waterbending when she learned bloodbending, and which gave her a larger respect for her own element. like, wow, I could kill. It's not just hurting people. I can't. No, it's not just cutting people, but I can literally take away a person's will. And I think I think that goes into her hate for the Fire Nation because that's exactly what they did. They took away the rest of the world's will. So I
Mm.
feel like by learning bloodbending, that really that really brought a bigger understanding, which contributed to her waterbending growth and ability. Because when you're bloodbending, you have to tap in to like so it's not so and she also that waterbending isn't just water. It's damn near any liquid, any kind of fluid. I'm not gonna go there. I went there with in the air episode. I'm not gonna go there this episode. All right.
Um,
I'm not gonna be the dead horse. But she learns that all right, it's not just if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go watch our air episode. We broke down Aang, Zahir, and Tenzin.
but that's also one of
But
those things that where
yeah, there. Go ahead.
that's also one of those things that where it depends on your understanding of the power. Like I've said all the on a few occasions, it's not so much your ability as it is what you can do with it and your understanding of it. Like a like I almost said Ahsoka again. Katara had to understand that you're just thinking on the cusp of what it is you can do with your ability. Like if you need to pull water, why can't you pull the moisture out of the air? Like if that's the case, like like how she took her out to the field and she absorbed all the moisture from the plants in the area. So it's like you have water around you at all times. You just need to be able
Oh
to
yeah,
think and
yeah,
how
I
to
remember that.
manipulate it. So it's like, like they say, the body's 90% water. So it's like, and it's like you see people
I thought
use
it was
water
I thought it was like
bending, but
80 something percent.
even then, if you use the ability within its full potential, like who's to say how dangerous or how formidable it could become or it is? Like it's as simple as going like if you had a waterbender who was strong enough, like for example, the North Pole, could they sink it?
Mm,
Could they create a tidal wave strong enough to wash away Ba Sing Se? Like you know what I mean? It's all in the aspect of the power and how it's used.
very true, and I think that's what her learning bloodbending did for her. It really opened her eyes to the true potential of what she could do as a waterbender. Because like, all right, if I can control the blood in someone's body, why wouldn't I be able to pull moisture from the air? Why wouldn't I be able to pull moisture from the plants and the trees and the vegetation around me? Why would I not? Why could I not be able to freeze the water and blood inside someone's body? And that damn, that's deep. That's deep. But let's talk a little bit more about the blood bending bitch. I meant witch.
So while the Fire Nation was on its crusade and it was basically pillaging its way across the I almost said the United Nations, the four elements, the kingdoms of the four elements, they came across a waterbender who they feared so much they locked her in a cell and limited her source of water that she was allowed to have. They literally gave her just enough to the point where she was allowed to have it and not die of dehydration. So this prisoner, while in her cell, I believe, wasn't she in like a volcano or something? If I'm-
Um, I don't think it was a volcano. I think you're thinking about what's your name from the Red Lotus that was in the volcano.
okay,
But
so but
yeah,
even then,
they
like
had her in a
the,
cell where there was
these
no moisture.
these guys are doing shit that is the equivalent of war crimes. And it's like she's abused and mistreated by the guards of the Fire Nation for years. And slowly but surely, she realizes that she can control the moisture inside the rats that were running around the prison. So she started to use them. And then once she got fluent enough to control the rats, she used the style of bending on the guards to escape the prison.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, it's one of those things where I can't necessarily blame her for becoming who she did, because the Fire Nation created that monster. They did. They really did. But I was always curious to why she never actually waged a full-on war against them.
That is a good. That is a good point. That is a. I never thought about that.
She could have went. She could have traveled to the northern, not the northern, excuse me. Yeah, she could have traveled to the Northern Water Tribe, been like, I discovered this technique. Like, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, but we could use this to fight against them. And it's like, because the war is eventually going to reach the door. And when it does, it's going to be all hands on deck. So how do you guys feel about this? And even if the elders went, yo, we can only use this shit as a last resort, that right there could have tipped the whole tide in everything that happened.
Very, very true. Now here's the
But I
other
also
thing,
think,
though.
like you said,
Would Master
go
Paco
ahead.
would have accepted? Would Master Paco even accept it from a woman?
You mean before or after she used the ability on him to make him sing and dance like a puppet?
I saw that coming, and I walked right into it. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Hell, she could have taken over the entire Northern Water Tribe if they didn't want to follow her.
Right? Like when the enemy comes to the gate, and they will, this is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to act. This is how we're going to take care of it.
I'm just thinking, with bloodbending, I know the answer is probably no, but if someone was to bloodbend someone of another bending, could they make that person use their bending?
If someone was the bloodbend,
Let's say she's bloodbending a firebender. Would she be able to make that firebender firebend?
So I think that depends on two things. I think that depends on that person's understanding of the element and their ability to manipulate the puppet. So, for example, if a flying roundhouse kick creates a certain kind of wave of fire, do I have to make that person do that flying roundhouse kick for that exact wave of fire? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I want him to create a column of fire, do I have to make him move a certain kind of way? Is it him moving a certain kind of way, or is him releasing and manipulating his chi as he's doing it? Because if I can manipulate his body, that's not the same as me manipulating his chi.
So, a counter question to that, another question to that: would Cora be able to do it since she's able to spirit bend? Would she be able to? Would she? She's a waterbender as well as a spirit, and as we now know that spirit bending is a sub bending of water bending. Would she be able to blood bend and also chi bend?
That makes sense.
I just thought about that. Would Korra be able to chi bend?
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Holy shit. I never thought about that. Because we know Unalaq, her uncle, can bloodbend. And he's also a waterbender. He's a bloodbender and a waterbender. But he has the ability to teach her how to spirit. Actually, no, wasn't he able to spirit bend as well? But she was stronger. She had a strong connection to the spirits because she was the avatar. That's
Correct.
why he couldn't open. Yes, he was a spirit bender because he was the one that was manipulating a lot of the spirits to do all the attacking and shit.
Correct.
So would Unalaq be able to chi bend? Plus, he also has the evil intent to do so. I think we just unlocked some new shit for the Avatar universe. Huh. So if let's say a waterbender was able to had mastered waterbending and bloodbending waterbending, bloodbending, and spirit bending, would they be able to use those bendings in unison in order to create a new form of bending, which would be chi bending? Because chi is essentially your spiritual energy.
Right.
Just like in Naruto, when they use a chakra is chi.
Right.
Dragon Ball Z, it's kai.
Now
they're just different names for the same thing. Spiritual pressure from Bleach, it's the same thing. It's chi, it's kai, it's ki.
Right. So I would say yes because Naruto, the Hyuga clan, Gentle Fist. When Neji fought Hinata, we saw him strike her chakra points and cut off her and block her chakra points. Now, the one chick who was rolling with Azula, Ty Lee.
Yeah, Ty Lee.
The one who was like the acrobat. She could strike your body and block your chi. And if she blocked your chi, you couldn't bend.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
So I would say no. A bloodbender cannot do that unless they knew how to manipulate the chi that was flowing through your body also.
We just unlocked a whole new bending. Holy shit, we just unlocked a whole new bending. Whoa. Chi bending. That's crazy.
Now, say, like, as one of my, you watched Heroes like I did, right?
Now,
you remember the character Samuel Sullivan?
I'm actually about to go back and rewatch. Yeah, I'm actually about to go back and rewatch that.
So Samuel Sullivan had telekinesis or geokinesis. He could control and manipulate the earth. And how it got revealed, the more people with ability Samuel was around, the stronger his power became. Now, it's one of those things like where his brother literally told him, he's like, I don't get it. He's like, all I can do is move the earth. He's like, nah, your power just starts off with you pushing and pulling the earth. He goes, you have no idea what you're capable of. Earthquakes, avalanches, mudslides, sinkholes. He's like, you could destroy cities, kill millions. He's like, so it's like, think about it. If you have an earthbender who could bring down a building or help level part of a city, now imagine you've got 20 of the strongest earthbenders in the world and you use them together manipulating your chi as a bloodbender.
You can literally, they'll be playing floor as lava for the rest of their short lives.
Right? Or that's an earthquake that's strong enough to destroy Ba Sing Se.
Like an earthbender at full strength could literally just be like, you know what? The entirety of Ba Sing Se is lava. He could literally touch the walls of Ba Sing Se and it come melting down as lava. And then turn the entire ground that Ba Sing Se sits on into lava. So 20 of them, then another one of them could easily just create a mudslide to put out the fire. Excuse me. A bloodbender could a bloodbender who has elevated their ability to cheat all the way up to chi bending. Because again, you got to be a waterbender, then move up bloodbending, and then all right, I'll do it this way: waterbending. Then next stage, in my mind, the way I see it in my mind is waterbending. Next stage is turning that water to ice bending, right? And then from ice bending to blood bending, from blood bending, spirit bending, and then from spirit bending would be the mythological, as of right now, chi bending. And technically and that would be so highly advanced, so fucking highly advanced, because you would have to spirit bend and blood at the same time as knowing the chakra points and being able to manipulate and learning how to manipulate those.
Good Lord.
That's crazy. I've never thought about that. Now, oh wait, here's the thing though. Wouldn't locking some or taking someone's bending or wouldn't that be technically locking away their chi?
No. I want to say no
Don't die on
because
us.
if that's the case, then every person who blocks someone's chi would be technically killing them.
Now, but
Because
the
you
thing is,
forget.
if you block one, so when you're if you were to chi bend, you wouldn't be blocking their you wouldn't oh because then there's then that splits chi from life force. Unlike in Naruto, chakra is your life force essentially, and once you run out of that, you're dead. And speaking in Naruto terms, so how would now? What if it was one specific chi? What if bending came from one specific chi point? Because if you block one, it wouldn't kill. It doesn't kill. That would only be if you blocked all of them. You know what I mean? Which means their chi wouldn't be able to flow through their body at all. But if you blocked one chi point, and it would be the chi point that would or the chakra point that would be that controls their bending, or is the reason why they're able to bend. So what if that's it? What if the difference between benders and non-benders is that benders are born with an extra chakra or chi point?
Okay. And then what? So, but how would that work with the whole hormonal convergence thing? Does the people who were able to access the element afterwards, was that chi point just open to them opposed to it being closed before? So that would make
Yeah,
sense.
like you said, yeah, with the recessive stuff, recessive genes and stuff like that, the people that are born non-benders, yeah, they still have that chakra point, but they don't have access to that chakra point. Harmonic convergence allowed those who were unable to access that chakra point able to access that chakra point. And for those of you listening, I'm saying chakra as in like just so you guys understand what points we're talking about. Um so you guys can look at it as in, so when Naruto did the illustration of the chakra points, so while we're talking you can visualize that, that image of the chakra points that Naruto had. Because we're speaking in kind of in those terms there. Um, so yeah, I think that's the only way that if non-benders and benders are all born with an extra chakra point or chi point, and those who are able to bend are able to tap into that extra chakra point slash chi point. And if one was to blood bend and spirit bend chakra and chi points, they would then be able to control the flow of chi in one's body and be able to blood bend them into using their bending form.
Okay, okay.
But that would take a very, very, very high level waterbender to do so. And it will also like Amon was a waterbender that was able to take bending away. So what if him taking their bending away, air quotes, was him blocking that extra chakra point?
Right, right. Because of him being a waterbender, he could sense it in the body, locate it, and switch for the flip and flip the switch from on to off.
And remember the positioning of their hands when they take someone's bending, both Aang and Amon. It's one on their head and then one on their chest, right?
Right,
There are, if you're talking about chakra and chi, there you have a chakra point, you have your head chakra, and then above that you have your crown chakra, right? But below that you have your heart chakra. So in that moment, they're blocking both their head chakra, which is like your pineal gland, which is you know said to be your third eye. When your third eye is your ability to see into the spirit world. And remember, if oh god damn, oh the doors are opening. Okay, so if you go back to Legend of Korra and you look all the way back into the first Avatar Wan's time period, both the spirit world and the human world live together in as one in harmony, right? Which is where you get the lion turtles, right? And the lion turtles are the ones that held the bending forms, right? So by blocking their third eye, which is said to be the thing that connects one to the spirit world, or allow them to see beyond the veil, right? Right there, right there, they're cutting off their ability to connect to the spirit world. What if bending? What if that extra chakra point is and bending comes from the spirit world, which is why when harmonic convergence happened, it created other benders that didn't have access to that extra chakra point or chi point. So when one goes to block someone's bending or take someone's bending, they one thumb on the third eye or the head chakra, right? And then another on the heart chakra, and it blocks that connection between the two. Now that's our podcast friends, and we'll be right back.
Going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I would have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right, and we're back. Please definitely go check out Icarus Comics, Midnight Comics, and Roomful of Blurs. I believe she's live right now, or she's just finishing up her podcast. Check out Lady Mandalore and Roomful of Blurs. But yeah, so what I was saying beforehand is, with the third eye being what is said to connect one to the spirit world,
Right.
and the heart chakra, which is what balances everyone's body, right? And it's what connects living to the dead, right? Those are two chakra. Your heart is, without your heart, you're dead, right? So it is safe to say that your heart is what tethers you to the living world and outside, and keeps you outside of the spirit world, while your head chakra or head chi point is your third eye, which is allows you to see into the spirit world, right? So who's to say? And if you look at the positioning of one's hands when they take someone's bending, it's both on the forehead, which is your third eye, your head chakra, and on your heart chakra. What if all it is that to take someone's bending is to block those two chakras from communicating with each other?
That makes sense. Was it? They say there's three parts to you: mind, body, and spirit. So
Exactly.
if you're blocking the spiritual side with the forehead, and then, excuse me, if you're blocking the mind side with the forehead, and if you're blocking the spiritual side with the chest, and then the energy can't flow freely through the body, yeah, that makes phenomenal sense.
And then that's how one would essentially chi bend. So technically, anyone that has the ability to take away one's bending has the ability to control their bending as well. And again, like you said earlier in the show, it's not about the power that you have, it's about your ability to use that power. So, rightfully, anyone that's able to block or take away someone's bending has the power to control someone else's bending. They just don't know it yet. That's crazy, dude. We just uncovered a whole new style of bending. And I love the fact that that carried into touching on Amon and his abilities to block to take away people's bending as an equalizer.
Oh
But
yeah.
just to add on, because we haven't talked about like what an equalizer is, tell the folks what an equalizer is.
So the Equalizers were basically a group of such of righteous separatists who felt that the bending of the world, excuse me, those in the world who could bend the elements to their will had basically been corrupted by their power, and then basically that bending was a perversion of the natural order. So were looking to equalize themselves and found ways to level the playing field, whether it be with technology or chi blocking to keep someone from bending. And it's like how Amon basically wanted to regulate said power because he's seen the way it corrupted people in the world, from everything from the 100-Year War to things with his own personal family. Like he felt like nothing good basically came from bending. But the thing with Amon is that Amon was, and Lord knows I hate a hypocrite, he was one because he himself was a waterbender.
Mhm. Now, what is Amon's true identity? So that's something that I'm actually very very foggy on. I don't remember.
So I can't remember his actual name, but it was supposed to be that he was the son of a criminal who was tried and basically held responsible for his actions, and then like he, as a punishment by Aang, he had his bending taken away because his father was a bloodbender. So then when his father settled down, relocated, changed his name, he started a family, he realized that both his sons were bloodbenders also. So he nurtured that potential in them until he realized how strong that he was.
Mm.
Like it was literally to the point where he realized he surpassed the actual blood bending and reached into what we're gonna call. Matter of fact, fuck it. Let's coin this shit. All right.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I mean, because it basically is chi bending. That's basically what it is.
Yes, yes. Take it. If one has the power to take away another's bending, they are chi benders.
I'm about to say, and I don't think that's ever been really said in the show. At
Never,
least I don't remember it
not
being
at all.
said.
Never, not once. It has never been said. It's never been like it's never been because he took away Korra's bending. Now I'll have to go back and watch that point of how she gets her bending back. But I don't think they ever actually said that it's because her chi was blocked or anything like that. I do not believe so. Everyone who's watching, please drop a comment below. Let us know if you know better than us, if that was something that was said or something that was explained in the show. Um, by all means, we're always open to what our viewers think and all of our level sevens and their knowledge, because this is a knowledge based platform. We want to hear your level of knowledge, because by you sharing your knowledge, it increases our knowledge. And we all know knowledge is power, and knowing is only half the battle.
So the knowledge is power, then a god am I.
Woo, I haven't heard that in a minute. But yeah, so please let us know if you guys know better than us. We will definitely take that into consideration, and we're all for being corrected. If the facts are there, if they're supported, we're all for being corrected. Um, but that's crazy. That's crazy. We literally just discovered a whole new form of bending. I'm all right, so I'm gonna do my best to try to find an email for one of the creators of Avatar, and I'm gonna send that to him, and I'm gonna make sure I screenshot the email if they do decide to end up using that that in later shows and movies, because we want our money, we want our just dues for this one. This is a big one. This is big. This is fucking big. Wow. If someone had okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. But yeah, no, yeah, this is big. This is big. We coined it. I'm gonna see if I can contact the creator and put them on, and see where it goes from there. Because that is fucking crazy. I never thought about this way in any way, shape, or form. So let's see. Touch on Katara. We touched on Amon, Witch Bitch. I mean, Bloodbending Witch. And we touched on Korra a little bit, not too much, but yeah. If y'all don't know who Korra is, y'all haven't been watching. Y'all need to check out Korra. Um, but no, that is such a fucking interesting thing, and I don't think Korra has been able to take away someone's bending. No, she took away Amon's bending.
No, I don't think it was so much that she took away his bending. I think it was one of those things where she realized what it was he did, and Aang was able to reverse it because she reached a really low point and she thought it was Tenzin coming to speak to her, and it was Aang. And then Aang basically reversed the process within her own body. So she basically healed herself through Aang's knowledge. So once again, I think exactly what you're saying is what happened. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Mm. Now, how did Korra defeat Amon?
She basically, what happened was because he blocks her bending within her body. So when he does it through his process, he blocks he blocks her ability to tap into earth bending, fire bending, and water bending. But the second he does that, it unlocks her potential for air bending. So she was able to like throw him out of a window, and remember serves me correctly, like he lands in the ocean. And then it's like when he basically bends his way out the water and people see him. And they're like, well, that's a Mon, isn't it? Mon's not a bender. Hold on, what's going on? He's a water bender? Like, hypocrite.
Oh.
Like he can't be talking this equal as shit, and he's a bender. That's not the way that works.
Okay. Because again, I'm only asking this question because the first season of Korra came out how many years ago? What was that? That was like what, 2000? I don't know why my mind wants to say 11.
That is a possibility.
There's no way that my knowledge is that good. There's no way that my knowledge is that good. I'm double checking right now. No, I was way off. It ended around 2011, but it aired 2005 to 2008. with 52 episodes.
The Legend of Korra did?
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't know about that.
Wait, whoa. Apparently there was also all right. A sequel to the previous series, Avatar: The Last Airbender, which never mind. 2012, 2015. I misread. So Avatar: The Last Airbender was 2005, 2008 with 52 episodes, separated into 4 seasons. Yes, 2012, 2014. That's when Legend of Korra was released. 2012, April 14th of 2012. And April 14th just passed. So that was like, how long ago? That was almost a decade ago. That was a little over a decade ago. No. Yeah. Yeah. It's 2 years over a decade ago. As of the 14th.
We're technically overdue for more Avatar content. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so your memory is fucking better than mine. We definitely are, because 2008 to 2012. That's a decent time frame, and then if we look at in 2014, it's exactly been a decade ago. December 19th would make exactly a decade ago that Korra ended. Damn, now I'm thinking about it. It's really crazy. We're sitting here talking about a show that ended over a decade ago when it comes to Last Airbender. Over a decade ago. 2028 makes 20 years since Avatar: The Last Airbender ended. That's fucking.
That actually is interesting. Very interesting.
Imagine being a writer or being a creative and create something that people are still avidly talking about, that your fan base is still alive. Still alive. Almost 2 decades later after it ends. It's the same thing with Ghostbusters. Same thing with Ghostbusters is like 3 decades.
Going on 4. It's 4. Going on 4.
And that's 3 decades from the last one. Yeah, it's going on 4. And of course, we're not counting the reboot with Melissa McCarthy. As much as I love her as an actor, as much as like she's so funny and amazing as an actor, we're not counting that one. Same thing with Leslie Jones. Love her she's fucking hilarious, but that movie was absolute dog water. Funny, but dog water.
Dog water still gets drunk. I don't understand where that term came from.
Hot dog water.
Oh, hot dog water.
No. I did say dog water, but if dog water isn't as bad to you, then hot dog water. Hot dog water mixed with old man piss. Like, I'm talking like 80, 90-year-old old man piss. That has been drinking his whole life.
Wow. That's just straight pneumonia.
Yeah, that's straight ammonia. You mean ammonia?
Ammonia. Sorry.
But I'm pretty sure if you breathe in the fumes from that shit, you'll get pneumonia. And let me say this before we get a bunch of hate mail. is not because it was an all-woman cast. Not at all. It's because it was written poorly and did not have anything to do with the original two, nor the game that was technically supposed to be the third movie, which was openly said by the creator that the Ghostbusters game was supposed to be kind of the third movie and finish out the franchise. But we weren't happy with that. So, we asked for more, and now we got Afterlife and Frozen Empire or some shit like that, right? Frozen Kingdom, Frozen Empire. That's the last one. That's the one that came out last month.
Correct.
Yeah, which also were not bad, but no, the reboot to the Ghostbusters was not good, specifically because of the writing. The acting was good, the comedy was great. It just wasn't a good story. But yes, okay. Continuing on. But yeah, no. Shit, I went on that rant for so long and forgot what the fuck I was talking about in the first place. Damn. My rant, I gotta work on my rants. I gotta write down if I know I'm gonna go on a rant, I need to write down what I was talking about before the fucking rant, because after my rants, I don't remember what I was talking about in the first place. But yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, yeah. Being a creative and creating something that spans decades, that have such a strong, loyal following decades later, that feeling must be it's unimaginable to me. Unimaginable to me. And that's a feeling that I want to feel. I want to feel that. I want to feel that feeling at some point in time. Because jeez. And when did what was the release date for the live action?
For Avatar,
Yeah, does anyone know offhand?
I want to say it was the second or third week of February.
Hmm. 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 Let's see. Release date. Oh, wait. All right. Somebody fucked up on Google. So I typed in Avatar live action, and so the release date is 2005, but that's the release date for the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah, all the
So
images for this are all from the action show.
type in Netflix before you put it in and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like it.
Sounds
mm,
like copyright infringement to me.
mm-hmm. Oh, I stand. I stand corrected. It dropped in February. Actually, it dropped February 22nd, 2024.
That's what I thought. I thought it was the second or third week of
And
February.
yeah, a nod to the original show's premiere, which was February 21st, 2005. No, I fucked up.
What?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going back to check because I'm fact checking right now, because now that didn't really make much sense as opposed to what I just read. Oh, shit, wrong thing. Back. Yeah, I'm fact checking right now.
Hmm.
There we go. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So what I had previously read, it did not give a specific date for when Avatar, the Last Airbender premiered. It didn't give a specific date; it just gave the year. So Avatar: The Last Airbender aired February 21st, 2005. Yeah, so the 21st of February made, my understanding, 12 years since the launch of. No, that's more than 12 years. Uh, that's 15 years
What are you talking
from
about?
the year. What was that?
Time frame. We're talking about in context. I can help.
We're talking about the release date of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and compared to the release date of the live action on Netflix, it's exactly 15 years. Uh,
Ah,
from
go for that,
from would it be 15 or 14?
nigga. You said 2005, right?
Yeah,
It's almost 20 years, dude.
yeah, 2005. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Correct. Yeah, yeah,
It's 19.
think,
It's 19.
wait, whoa. What's 19?
It's 19.
It's 19 years
Next year's
altogether?
2025, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would make exactly 15 years. No, over that. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Again, I've been up since 9 in the morning. I'm running off of just straight coffee because I've been preparing for the show. Um, so yes, I am tired and I cannot
I
math
was like, I
today,
gotta get
okay?
math ain't math, and I gotta get his math right. And help him
Yeah,
out there.
yeah. I can't my ability to math is over with right as of right now. um but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Now, it would have been even cooler if they were able to do it on the day, but it's still pretty cool that they got the day after. That's pretty cool, and I feel like that's very highly respectable of the show to do. Although I have my few minor and one major issues with the show, I respect the show and I like the show. I feel like as of right now, with what we all just talked about and uncovered, I feel like waterbending is literally the most dangerous bending there is.
Nah.
Okay, earthbenders can create lava, but the fact that waterbending has the potential to literally take over another person's bending. Imagine one bender imagine one bender, very strong water bender with the ability to chi bend. And like you said, they chi bend 20 earth benders. They are damn near unstoppable. Because what's gonna stop what okay, firebender, a bender takes out the earth benders that they're using. Now that firebender is getting chi bended. And now that waterbender goes from being able to be from bending earthbenders to create lava to now they have a firebender on their side, conducting lightning. As an airbender on their side, sucking the air out of an entire area. But again, that would take someone studying the art of the avatar, the art, in the form of them learning all four, not not being able to bend the elements, but learning the fundamentals of each element, and then using that to bend others to bend that element.
That wouldn't necessarily be
So
too uncommon, considering that Iroh was able to develop redirecting lightning from a waterbending style. So
mhm,
that's not impossible.
exactly, and the fact that he also taught Zuko how important the idea of the avatar is, how important learning from each element, and again we see Katara do it with the earth bending. That's how she decided, oh, maybe I could create a column of ice and shoot the ice plates the same way earthbenders shoot the earth or shoot a rock plates. So learning the fundamentals and the ideology of another bending, like you said, is not unheard of and it's completely possible. So for one waterbender who has elevated and ascended to the point of being able and has learned the ability to chi bend, mixed with them studying all the other three bending forms and bending elements, they could easily bend another bender to bend their power. He's a bender. He bends other benders. Well, he or she
Oh
bends other
yeah,
benders. They're
yeah,
bender.
sure, sure. As long as you don't say, as long as you're gonna master with this.
Listen, as long hey, I'm not and when I say a bender, I'm not talking about like Diddy style of type bending.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No one
Like
went that. Oh my God, Jack! Prince,
Why?
why are you encouraging him?
Let's keep out left field. And I'm like, I'm gonna do something. And I heard that. I'm like, what?
uh
Because
uh
I guess he decided to say
yes,
because nothing
yes,
wild has been said this entire show. So he's like, I'm gonna say something wild. Pretty much.
I, you know what? He's not wrong. That is the wildest shit I've said this show so far. That was the wildest shit I've said on this episode. But yeah. Oh no, my mind keeps going. My brain keeps going. Oh no. Oh no. Uh, it's building something. My brain is building something in my mind.
I'm
It is
concerned.
really fucked up. And at this point, I'm encouraging it because this is gonna be a big one. Oh, oh shit. Fucking oh my god, what is Diddy the real life avatar?
I don't get it.
The master of all four industries?
Still don't get it.
Bender of benders? Well, apparently he's bent over damn near almost everyone that has been a part of any industry.
That's not right.
There's a
That's not
it,
okay.
it it's not okay at all, but damn. This nigga Diddy has so many would say he's had his hand in every industry, but I'm pretty sure behind the scenes he's had his dick in every industry more than his hand.
Jesus Christ. Oh no.
See what you started? You see what you started?
I just laughed. I don't know.
In his defense, this was all me. This one was all me. My brain started formulating that bullshit before he even laughed. Oh God.
Like, son of a
Oh
bitch.
God.
Oh, great.
Nigga said music, television, movies, news. Long ago, the four industries lived in harmony together. But everything changed when the diddler attacked.
This nigga, man.
Oh, oh,
Happy now?
God.
You happy now? You happy now?
Oh, it is highly enjoyable. Oh, man. Listen. Any final remarks for the people? Guys, Triage, any final remarks for the people?
I'm not saying nothing after the rant you two just went on. I tell you this, I'm gonna
Hey,
take a,
don't
I'm
put
gonna
me
take,
in there. Don't put me
I'm
in
gonna
there.
take a page.
Not the rant that he went on. Oh, no. That's a funny
See,
time.
see, nah, you started this. You started this,
No,
Mr. Desolation Prince. We know what it is you're destroying. All right, we know what it is you're destroying. You're destroying everything and everyone in your path. And for whatever reason, at this moment, somehow Powers Dignity came along with that. You took our noble leader and you brought him down to your level.
I didn't bring him back to my level. I didn't do shit. I just and I was like, oh, shit. It's like really nothing. I was doing shit the entire time. He's the one who went down that rabbit hole. I ain't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, sure, because you're not the one who encouraged him.
I didn't. I ain't come bring up the diddler.
I
See, this only happens when you two are together. I just want to point that out.
I honestly have to say, what? He hasn't been on the show in how many months, and I've still been like this.
Nah, listen, man. I
It's
don't.
the Terramana, I swear.
No, what I was gonna say was that should go into a reel, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's really what I was gonna say because I literally said I'm gonna steal a page out of Power's book and go, that's going into a reel because that's what he always says when I go on my rants.
And it does. This is about to be a 2 to 3 part reel right here.
Jesus, the diddler.
Well, I blame the shot of Terramana, I blame the shot of New Amsterdam vodka, and I blame this craft beer that I'm drinking right now.
Nah, you want to know something I saw recently that really made me think?
Shoot.
Yo, why is it that the no Diddy is a thing, and yet, excuse me, and yet no one's going after Homeboy from Nickelodeon?
Because anyone that has to say no, because in the I'll answer that for you. Don't worry, Deso. Don't worry, Deso. I got
Which
this.
Nickelodeon dude? Because they had 3 pedals. They had
Anyone?
3. They had 3 actual pedals. The other person was just weird when he did the shows.
Actually, that is a very he was you're right. Dan Schneider, he had a foot fetish, he had a rage issue, and he had a and he was a sexist misogynist. He wasn't
And
a pedo. Now,
see, once again, him saying that there's more than one, all he's doing is further proving my point. Thank you once again, Prince.
I guess we're on Nickelodeon now, I guess. That's part of the reputation we tried to get. I just pretty much pull that out right now.
I'm just curious, like, you know, because people have been talking about Diddy, but you know, we can literally have Nickelodeon kids stand up and go X, Y, and Z, and no one seems to want to touch that. Pause.
Do I really want to go down? Why? I watched even part 5, and they actually interviewed him.
Oh, they dropped part 5 already?
Yes, it's on Max.
All right.
Part
All right.
5. They interviewed it, and the crazy part, they only interviewed the 2 black people. So you already know how that.
Well, because they also didn't give Giovanni enough shine time in that as well.
But then they did Drake too.
Yeah.
Drake actually did an interview too, but the
he didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he came out
because the ending of the 4th part is. All right, but yeah. So to answer your question, Triage, the reason why people aren't saying no Schneider or no, excuse
Pickles?
me, any of the other names.
Did you say Pickles?
Because on the show he was a dude that was a pickle dude. It's just the name is
the pickle guy.
They don't
Yes, he was the pickle guy.
That's one who did on Drake.
Yes, the pickle dude. Oh, see, right off the rip, they should have seen that coming. No pun intended.
The pickle thing, that just sounds creepy.
He had a whole big old plate of pickles, and oh god, every in the show.
Yeah, so let me explain.
I'm all ears. Go ahead. I'm patiently waiting for someone to explain.
All right, so the guy's last name was Peck. I can't remember his first name. Ryan. I think it was Ryan Peck or something like that. So he was the guy.
Brian. Yeah, with a B.
Brian. Yeah, Brian. Brian Peck was the guy that diddled Drake Bell. But Ryan Peck was known as the pickle guy. In all the Nickelodeon show, there was a guy that would pop up and he had like either a tray of pickles, a jar of pickles, was always doing something with fucking pickles in the show. And that spans from that the pickle guy spans all the way from all the way to Zoe 101 and everything in between Zoe 101 to Drake and Josh.
iCarly. Got caught.
So
Get your information correct.
No, but they hired him back.
No, they hired him back next. Another thing got him. He only got like a few years, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, Zach and Cody. Zach and Cody hired him,
which is nuts. It's like,
but yes. So the reason why no one says no Peck or no the other guy, because the guy was a really like a tour guide for the kids coming to the
he was an intern. He was an intern.
But the reason why they say no Peck, yes, he was an intern. So the reason why nobody says no Peck is because anyone that has to say no Peck is a pedophile. If you make a joke like that, let's say if you make a joke like that and you have to say no Peck at the end of it, and again, not talking about Josh. If you have to say no Peck at the end of it, there's something wrong with you. If you're making jokes that have to do with the diddling of minors, there's something wrong with you. Diddy, on the other hand, was a bunch of sex trafficking and to the law's knowledge, there was no underage involved in that. To the law's knowledge,
comes out. At least if they reveal that niggas on the Epstein list, then that's a whole different ball game right there.
Exactly, it's crazy because now there's 2 lists. There's an Epstein list and there's a Diddy list.
Jesus Christ! I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Well, in their situation, it's a glory hole.
Nah, we can't laugh. Yeah, don't laugh at that. Please don't.
God damn it. That's
Please,
why I was like,
please,
God damn
nah.
it.
I'm mad you made that joke. What is the matter with you, man? What the fuck? Oh my God. Power, you need Jesus.
In the words of Terramana, I'm sorry, not Terramana. In the words of T-Pain, blame it on the juice, blame it on the Henny, blame it on the drink that got me feeling dizzy, blame it on the
Wrong person.
alcohol. Oh wait,
Wrong.
who did that one?
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, it was Jamie. Blame it. It
Uh-huh.
was Jamie. Yeah, the clone.
You can tell the Terramana's in there. You're getting things wrong. Like, I got the right, Am.
No. It's the alcohol and me being tired of shit. It's alcohol and me being tired of shit. And thank God the show's not gonna go on any longer because I just took a bite of an edible nerd's rope. Thank God the
Whoa.
show's not gonna go on any longer because it's about to get crazy. It's about
This
to get
nigga got,
crazy.
he got no sleep. He's over there getting high. He's getting drunk. He's just, oh my God.
I ain't do it. Hey. He's over there having. I guess he didn't get enough for yesterday. I guess.
An edible nerd's rope.
Wait,
Where do you
what?
even get
Oh
that? Like,
yeah. I can't. My sources must be confidential. There, I can tell you after. It's a
interesting.
close friend. We both know him.
Oh, fair enough.
Let's just say I bought it Friday.
Copy.
Um,
So with
but
me
yeah,
being saying,
that's so. Yeah, no, yeah. Go ahead, Triage. Finish the last words. Finish the last words for the people.
my last words is that if you guys feel the whole thing with the water bending and how it is the most powerful and the potential it has is still to be scratched on the surface. If you agree, let us know. If you disagree, let us know. That whole thing to me needs to go into a reel because these two are fucking killing me. But Jack, what about you?
What's up? What's up with you, Deso? What are your
You
final
know
words
this.
to the people?
Nope.
No, you gotta say it. You gotta say it.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
See, once again, you do that laugh, and then you go, no, I don't, and everyone's waiting for you to pull the pin out of the grenade and throw it.
I'm not throwing the grenade this time. I'm not throwing the grenade. Enough grenades got thrown today. We're good.
It's not wrong though.
Enough grenades got thrown. I'm good. I don't need no more grenades. We don't need no more grenades. We don't need no more. We're good. We're good.
Says someone who believes that the best type of kill is overkill.
Have I done overkill? Have I done overkill the entire time I've been playing this? No.
He sound like he just tried to
Literally
pull
have
your card. I'm just saying.
You max out your character's abilities 100% and gave him OPS bending abilities. I'd say that's overkill. You're one-shotting Elden Ring bosses. That's pretty
I'm not one shot.
overkill
No,
to me.
2 shots.
Prince, Mike Jack is calling you out right now. What you gonna do?
Hee hee. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my god, that's good.
Situation.
That's good. All right, so apparently, Prince's last words and the final remarks for people are hee hee. And I'm not pulling the pin out of the grenade. Oh, all right. As for me, let's take were those all right, so your final words are, by all means drop in the comment if you feel that waterbending if you feel that like we found a new form of waterbending, and if you feel like waterbending has not been used to its full potential, right? Because there's a lot of
Correct.
chaos going on right now. I just want to
That
make
is
sure
correct.
I got. All right. For me, honestly, yeah, I feel like the discovery of chi bending has really been the biggest thing of this of this episode. So I'm gonna agree with that. Please drop. I'm gonna go with that. Please drop down in the comments if you really feel like, or your thoughts on waterbending, and what its capabilities could possibly be. And let us know if you agree with chi bending and our pretty much our breakdown and analysis of chi bending. Um, and then I would say, just remember, East is a lie,
There's only passion.
and through passion
You gain strength.
and through strength
You gain power.
and through power,
You take victory. And in
in
victory, your
victory,
chains are broken.
a fucking men. And with that, that has been the Super Breakdown Podcast. This has been a long ass episode. Um, that's Breakdown Podcast, all level sevens. Please tune in next week as we're gonna go over. I know next week is pretty much the start of. Let's see. Yeah, next week is. Oh no! We got one more episode. We got one more episode, so we can cover fire. Oh, we
I thought
didn't go
Earth was
over
next.
Earth.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into May.
We never covered fire. Want to do
We'll
a double
brainstorm and
episode
figure it
Earth and
out.
fire?
We'll brainstorm and figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Just tune in next week. We're going to be talking about another form of bending, whether it's going to be earth or fire. Or actually, let's leave it up to you. Let us know. Next episode, earth or fire. You can let us know on our Instagram or our Facebook. We will be putting the post up after the show. We're going to do a poll. What episode should we do next? Earth or fire? What should we break down next? And don't be afraid to add certain characters that were your favorite characters throughout both Atla and Legend of Korra. Let us know your favorite firebending character. If you want us to do firebending next, let us know your favorite firebending characters within the Avatar universe. If you want to do Earth next, let us know your favorite characters that were Earthbenders in the Avatar universe. And we'll take a poll, we'll see which ones win, and we'll pick the characters from there. So with that being said, fuck prep time. See y'all next week.
Fuck prep time.
Fuck prep time.
Huzzah! Oh, actually, 1 second before we go. For all those who pre-ordered and bought both our either the hoodies, the t-shirts, or the shorts, or the workouts hoodie, we got something special. We have you guys. We will be sending you guys a message privately, personally, in email about some special things that we would like to do for you guys for sponsoring, for honestly for supporting our channel and our launch of our clothing line. So we will be reaching out to you via email. Everyone who bought within the pre-order period, we love y'all. We thank y'all. We got something special coming for y'all. Prince, don't die on us again.
Can't guarantee that.
Order.
Peace.